It is a bit cooler, 86 degrees. We still have high humidity. It's windy. It says 6 miles an hour out of the south-southwest, but it feels stronger than that. Moving that thick air around. And 2 steamy nights in Minneapolis leading up to today. Jack Caglione is back in there tonight, chatting with Alex Zumwalt and getting ready for Bailey Ober. And Cags in the game last night had a couple of hits and an RBI, putting an end to an 0 for 22, so he has that behind him. Josh Rojas starts in all 3 games of the series. He'll be at third base. And Tyler Tolbert had a big game last night, batting ninth and playing at shortstop with a home run, a walk, a stolen base, a double, and 2 runs scored. And here comes Bailey Ober, and it's hard not to see him take the mound. He is 6'9".
6'9", 260, the North Carolina native, making his 16th start on the season and has been much better. Bounce back season. Last year had an ERA over 5. This year down in the mid-4s. And against the Royals, he has been very good. His last 5 starts, the team hasn't won a bunch of games for the Twins, but he has limited them to a 1.16 ERA in 31 innings pitched, just 21 hits. So been very good. A little bit the opposite of what Joe Ryan was. Good, and now we've struggled. And Bailey Ober the opposite. Bailey Ober doesn't overpower you with the fastball. He does it with extension. 6'9". He's in the 99th percentile for extension. His fastball down a couple of ticks this season. You'll see 88 miles per hour. He'll touch a 90 from occasion, but relies on that changeup and the sweeper difference in speed. Gets hitters off balance, and they don't have quite as much time to react with the way he gets down the mound.
Now, he looks like a guy that should be averaging 98.3 miles an hour.
He's a big guy. Yes, indeed. We've talked about, if only it were size that told you how hard a guy threw, but he has found a way to pitch with what he has, which is very unique with that extension. Today, the defense behind him will get our first look at Austin Martin in the series. He's in left field. Luke Keyshaw in center. Cody Clemens bounces out to right field. Brooks Lee at third base. Ryan Kreidler at short. Royce Lewis at second. And Alex Jackson at first base. Ryan Jeffers, riding that 19-game on-base streak, will be calling the pitches for Bailey Ober today.
That's the crew chief, Marvin Hudson, in his 28th and final year as a Major League umpire. He's at second base today. Nick Marley is behind the plate. He's a late bloomer, if you will. He wasn't a full-time umpire until he was 40 after serving our country in the Air Force, and then 473 minor league games before his big league debut.
I wonder, is that a quick turnaround, 473?
Bailey Ober, our Xfinity player profile. And Jeremy was telling you about what he's done against the Royals in his last 5, but his ERA was over 7.5 in his first 9. The Royals were all over him, and he's made the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, he and Joe Ryan need to get together and figure out what they've done opposite. They kind of had flip-flop results.
Or just find the middle.
There you go. Although I'm sure they like the extremes when they look at the good of it. Yeah, I kind of like that low ERA. Success against a team.
2-0 on Carter Jensen. 2 balls, 1 strike. Carter gets half the day off as the designated hitter. He is 1 for 9 in the series with a double, an RBI, and a run scored in the game last night. But as we were having fun with him, he also fouled a ball off of his foot, later off of his leg. After that, one of his teammates in the on-deck area, and he whacked the then home plate umpire Trip Gibson with his mask in pursuit of a foul pop-up.
Full carnage for Carter Jensen. Yesterday I talked to Lane Thomas. I said, how'd that feel? He said, it hit me and I just felt like my entire leg went numb for a couple of seconds. He said, it just shocked me. I didn't know what happened. I can imagine that. It barely missed his arm and hand, he said.
Lane Thomas is not in the lineup today, but Matt Quatrero said that was pre-planned. It's not because he was hit by the foul ball, and Lane ended up taking his at-bat anyway.
He's got a mark to remember it, though. He showed me the mark as well. So when you take a ball 90-plus from about 25 feet, it's going to leave a mark.
How about a game-opening walk?
Walks are not something Bailey Ober struggles with. Part of his success this season has been limiting the walks. So good at bat by Carter Jensen. Good eye.
John Rave is back after Vinny Pasquantino went on the injured list last night. This is his second stint with the Royals, after playing 72 games with the Royals last season. First time up, he was 4 for 18 with a home run. That is Bailey Ober for a strike. 0-2.
Send your complaints to Ryan.Lefevre at a little play on words there. And
I get one of those in every start. Thought I'd get it out of the way in the top of the first. Jensen had to slow down to make sure he didn't run into that ground ball, and it really wasn't hit hard enough for a double play, and the Twins will get the out at second.
Yeah, gets out of the way. It's a slow roller, so like you said, probably not going to be a double play, but Royce Lewis does a spin move and almost lost the grip. Didn't really get a good handle before he threw it, so it could have been disastrous for the Twins, but able to kind of baby it over to the shortstop.
Jack Caglione with 1 on, 1 out. Into left field. Martin comes sprinting in. Kreidler's out. Look out. And it's a sliding play by Martin. Yikes. Kreidler took a left turn at the last second.
Well, Austin Martin gives us our all-state good hands replay, and you'll see Kreidler was going for that ball 100% the last moment. Able to divert, and Martin does a nice job because Kreidler crossed right in front of his vision. Kept his eyes there, and when it came back into vision, boom, right with the glove. Makes a heck of a play.
A little bit inside on Salvi, who has 3 hits in the series, including a leadoff triple in the 4th inning last night, which turned into a run. A little bit low. 2 balls, no strikes. Salvi has been a gamer this year. He has seen Bailey Ober for 30 at-bats with respectable numbers. 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and Ober has struck him out 9 times. Rave is running. The throw comes in on a bounce, and John Rave steals second base. Ryan Jeffers has thrown out 13% of base runners this year.
Yeah, one of the lowest in the league. So John Rave takes advantage, and John Rave gives this Royals lineup a little bit different look. More speed, the ability to take a base. We've seen Tyler Tolbert running a lot more recently, and now they add John Rave. So a little bit more for Matt Quatrero to think about. Rave's first on the season for the Royals.
Salvi hits it to left field and deep. Martin is back and has room. So the leadoff walk is harmless. The Royals are scoreless in the top of the first. And Noah Cameron has his 20th start of the season coming up. No score, bottom of the first inning. And here's the Minnesota Twins lineup with Ryan Jeffers back in there. He leads all big league catchers with a .928 OPS. He has a 5-game hitting streak, and he's reached base in 19 consecutive games, and he has good numbers against Noah Cameron.
And here is Noah Cameron making his 20th start, 21st appearance of the season. His last one was one of his best on the year. It came out of the bullpen in the bulk relief role against the Tigers. He threw 7 scoreless innings, just 2 hits allowed. And I'll tell you what, take a look. On the left is his first 19 starts. On the right is his last outing. And the cutter usage was the biggest difference for me. 20% on the season. Bumped that up to 27.8%. So trying to keep hitters off of that four-seam fastball. Big thing for him, and they've said it all year long, is get ahead, and his pitches play up much more when he's ahead in the count versus when he's behind.
Outside to Austin Martin. Another thing I noticed there with that comparison, Jeremy, was not just the difference in percentage, but the difference in the average location. It looked like the cutter was up for the most part before his last start. In that last start, it was down.
Interesting. Yeah, he used it more as a fastball, I think. When behind in the count, ahead in the count, he used it instead of his four-seam fastball, so it wasn't just a setup pitch or trying to get in on the hands, but it was used all over the zone.
That looked pretty good. 3 balls, no strikes on Martin, who's 2 for 2 in the series, and both hits have been pinch hit base hits. He has a very high walk percentage. Got to throw him strikes, and that's Cameron's first of the game. Calling his own game, which he did for the first time last time out. He
expressed to Matt Cottrero and Ryan Sweeney and Salvi that he wanted to call his own pitches, and I like what Matt Cottrero said in the pregame. He said, no, listen, he wanted to take responsibility for his outing. He wanted to take responsibility for the pitches. And in talking with Salvi, he said there's no faster way for a pitcher to learn than when he's in control of what he's throwing.
They have chased ball 4 there, and it's fouled away.
So I think it's a good learning experience. Obviously, the first outing went really well. Nothing really to change there. He'll try and duplicate it. Salvi overall calls pitches for most of his pitchers, including for me when I threw to him. And he likes that role, but he said that's what Noah Cameron wants to do. I support him in that and want to help him along.
Both teams have a leadoff walk in the first inning.
Well, let's take a look at the Royals defense this afternoon. Isaac Collins in left field once again. John Rave in center field. Nick Lofton out in right. Josh Rojas at third base. Tyler Tolbert at short. Michael Massey at second. Cags moves to first base in the absence of Vinny. And Salvi behind the dish.
And right away, the Twins are running and out on a creative slide by Martin. Kind of a rolling, reaching slide to avoid the tag. And Salvi has thrown out his 11th this year, throwing out over 30% this season.
Yeah, he's been really good at catching base stealers. Perfect throw right here. Not a great jump by Austin Martin. Had a shorter lead, and Salvi able to put that throw. It kind of ran up the line, but still beat Austin Martin. That tag right at the chest. As he kind of barreled out of the way, he was still able to get it before he reached the base.
Good pitch. Jammed. And Rojas has time. 2 down.
Well, there's the cutter already. Using it effectively in a 2-0 count. In on the hands of Ryan Jeffers. And that's really what you want to do with the cutter. You want to get it in on a guy that he thinks it looks like a strike. You'll see also the velocity in his last start ticked up about 1.5 miles per hour. So his fastball reached as high as 95.2 miles per hour. The cutter, the off speed also went up 1 mile an hour with the fastball. So a little bit of that had a factor in how well he pitched in Detroit as well.
0-1 on Tuesday's hero, Royce Lewis. We had a 2-out, 2-run walk-off. The Royals were 1 out away from taking that game. And now Lewis wants a challenge. That was late.
It was a late strike call and a late challenge.
And I think it's going to be a bad decision on his part. ABS is powered by T-Mobile.
Calls the ball, Minnesota 2 remaining.
So he probably should have gone with his first instinct. It was almost like an afterthought to challenge. And that looked good. 2 balls, 1 strike.
See right there, so he throws a nice backdoor curveball, goes right to the pitch com, and likes that combination. Changeup off of curveballs, really nice combination. Hitters see fastball arm speed after a breaking pitch. Perfectly located.
Slider is down. So both starters get around the leadoff walk, and at the end of 1, no score.
Joe Goldberg back here at Target Field. The Royals have really had their depth challenged with so many of the injuries this year, and One of the key pieces has been the development and the health of Michael Massey, and then the versatility of Nick Lofton. There was a point earlier in the season where Massey was telling me that he and Lofton really viewed themselves as a combined package. One guy's in there or the other one is in there, usually at second base. What were their combined numbers? Oftentimes filling in for each other, but ever since Maikel Garcia went out the third week of June, it has been the two of them in there almost every single day. Massey has been able to stay healthy, a .296 batting average in the month of July with a .755 OPS. Lofton in July, .306 batting average with an .829 OPS, and been so clutch of late. So these two guys have just slotted in everyday second baseman, everyday third baseman, and now saying instead of it being their numbers as one person, it's combined as two everyday players.
Yeah, I remember talking to them earlier in the season, and they kind of felt like they were a platoon option, but like Jonas reported, with injuries, they've both been in the lineup consistently, and they've both performed very well.
Massey grounds to Jackson over at first base. And here is Lofton.
In this lineup, this offense, since June, they rank in the top 5 in the AL, that is, with average, slug, and runs per game. And they've done a lot of that without their 3 most important hitters. You know, and you'll never want to play a game without Bobby Witt Jr. and without Maikel Garcia and Vinny Pasquantino. But the fact is they've combined in this over half of the last 50 games for the Royals, and there's been this uptick in offense, and a lot of it has to do with Nick Lofton and Michael Massey and others that have picked up some of the slack with their consistent playing time. It's been really a positive thing for Royals development to see that.
0-2. So he's moving up every year in more games played at the big league level, and that's paid off in just about every category. The word that keeps coming up in regard to what the Royals have done offensively since June, they are more functional on offense, where the talent was there and yet there was no flow to the offense. One at bat didn't seem to blend to the next at bat, into the next at bat. The old keep the line moving when you guys were so good during that stretch of years. Lofton is pointing to the dugout. He's wondering if Jackson came off the bag. And as soon as he hit the bag, he immediately turned to the dugout and pointed to first base.
And the replay didn't show that Jackson came off. Jackson's a catcher by trade. Not a whole lot of games played at first base.
But anyway, it just feels like right now the offense is more functional. They're not relying on 1 or 2 guys. Everybody's chipping in here and there.
A little bit of that role play. Each player comes up and recognizes that they want to build off of what's just happened, whether that's moving a guy over on a bunt, whether that's shooting the ball to the right side, maybe that's a big swing. And it has seemed to mesh well. And again, you'll never want to play your games without those big 3 in there, but for the time being, this offense has appeared to play much better as a unit.
Collins is going to challenge that.
Freeze, pitch, call, strike. Here's challenge. Call the ball, catch the day, it's too many.
Nice eye by Isaac Collins,
who has said before, tongue-in-cheek, but he's better at ABS in day games.
Have we checked the numbers on that?
He's on with a 4-pitch walk, and that's Ober's second.
Yeah, not like I said, Ober doesn't walk a ton of guys. He's been much better this season. He's lowered his ERA. He's lowered his hard hit rate against him. He's lowered his opponent's average. Everything down from last season. It's been a higher mix of breaking pitches. His slider and his sweeper, which is his best pitch statistically, an average of under 070 this season against opposing hitters. But I think he's gone from being kind of a fastball changeup pitcher to mixing a lot more breaking balls, and he's kept hitters off balance. It's been part of his success.
Spent a little bit of time on the injured list this year with a right elbow issue. He had a shutout against the Marlins here in the middle of May on 89 pitches. So it wasn't like 126 pitches just to get him through it. But he has scuffled since then, which included going on the injured list with the elbow problem.
Yeah, that was kind of his low water mark for his ERA, if you will. At that point in May, had an ERA in the low threes, was throwing the ball extremely well. Hasn't been as good since, but last year had time on the IL with a hip issue, which may or may not contribute to the decrease in velocity, but he's learned how to pitch. The height and the extension certainly help him. In developing more breaking balls, it's made him a little bit tougher of an at-bat.
Lee makes the play, and the Royals are scoreless in the second. TV Capital Federal Junior Broadcaster. Visit Royals.com/junior broadcaster to enter. Those Royals fans in the front row got a souvenir. Josh Bell, Cody Clemens, and Luke Keyshaw in the Minnesota second. Josh Bell's been around for a while. We were telling you last night, this is his 11th big league season, his 7th team. He has driven in 63 runs for the Twins this year, which ties his total from last year, but in far fewer games. So he still has some gas left in the tank.
Much more productive this season. He's looked much better. Just the way he swings the bat, looks like he's on time. Always good against the Royals. 8 home runs in 32 games against the Royals, and much like Cody Clemens, probably gets excited when the boys in blue show up.
Noah Cameron walked the leadoff hitter in the first inning, but then got a caught stealing on a great throw by Salvi, a ground out and a strikeout. Pulled on the ground to Rojas. One away, and a message from Rally House.
The season starts at Rally House. From jerseys and hats to tumblers for game day, it's where outrageous selection meets every fan's style.
Cody Clemens with 1 out, 2 for 7 in the series without a home run. That's headline news. And Massey goes to the middle, little double clutch, but he throws him out. Cody Clemens is usually good for a home run or 2 in every series against the Royals, and so far they've kept him in the ballpark. He has just 1 run scored.
Yeah, done a nice job against Clemens, and Noah Cameron's done a nice job to start this game. You can see him mixing it up, and he seems to be in a real flow. I think, people ask all the time, would you want to have called your own pitches or not? And the thing that would make me hesitate to say, yes, I'd want to call my own pitches, is that if I have to think too much about it, if I have to sit there and kind of deliberate over what I want to throw next. And when I watched Noah Cameron today and in his last outing, he's pretty quick to go to it, much like Seth Lugo. So he has a plan in his mind. He's reacting to each pitch, both how it comes out of his hand, the way the hitter reacts to it, and he seems very quick and decisive as to what he wants to throw next. So that to me tells you he's in a good flow.
Left center field. Collins is there, and the Twins go 1-2-3 against Noah in the second.
So Tyler Tolbert up to start the third, and what did he do yesterday in his first at-bat leading off? Got himself a fastball, inner third, and with the rest right there. 3 home runs in July. 417. Red hot for Tyler Tolbert, and last night was a big offensive spark plug for the Royals.
Later in the game, he had a double. He had a walk. He had a stolen base. The home run, by the way, put an end to an 0 for 12. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then had a couple of base running mishaps in the same game, which Matt Quatrero was saying, basically, those are the best teachers. You can practice all you want. You can think through it all you want. Okay, you're second base here. What are you thinking? Sometimes it just needs to go wrong in a game where, that's why we do it this way or we don't do it this way.
And that's what the best athletes do. They learn from mistakes. They don't fear mistakes, but they learn from them. And Tyler Tolbert can continue to do that, he'll be better for it. Nasty changeup by Bailey Ober. That is a good pitch for him. Like I said, used to be mostly fastball changeup, but the way it comes out of his hand, you'll see that grip, and something unique about that grip. That's a grip he learned playing catch with Randy Dobnak a few years back with the Twins. They were playing catch. Randy Dobnak had done some deep diving into Greg Maddux and how he threw his changeup, found one that had good horizontal movement. They were playing catch. Bailey Ober saw it and said, "What kind of grip are you using?" Showed him the grip, and to our knowledge is still using that same grip today. It's good run, 19 inches of horizontal movement for Ober on his changeup. That's why it's so good. You see that, 83 miles per hour. So it takes off about 5 miles per hour. But what's unique about it is with that 19 inches, it's about 6 inches more than league average. So to what the hitters are accustomed to seeing, they have to adjust even more to the changeup of Bailey Ober.
So even if you're saying, even if they see it out of his hand, it's going to break more.
The perception will be that it's moving more than the majority of the changeups they see. That's what they will see a changeup, say I maybe identify it, but it's going to be different than the normal changeup.
3-1 on Carter, who's already walked today. Fouled away. I'm glad you brought up Greg Maddux, because I have this kind of twisted theory. Here's the Randy Dobnak grip.
And I actually asked Randy, I said, what changeup do you throw now? And it looks similar there, but Randy Dobnak actually throws a kick change now. So he has changed his grip from the one that he taught Bailey Ober, his teammates. But nonetheless, both have very good changeups, and they found a way to execute them with good movement.
Fouled away again. So you're saying if Bailey Ober went to Randy and said, "Hey, I need a tune-up. Can you help me out with the grip?" You'd say, "I don't know. I don't even throw that pitch anymore."
Maybe he'd give him a new one. But listen, we don't need Randy giving away his secrets right now. Okay, this is an interdivision opponent. I heard a great story about someone asking Corey Kluber how he threw a certain pitch, and it was a relief pitcher from the Twins.
Nice play by Jackson, the catcher, playing first base, and Carter Jensen is out at first.
Well, Alex Jackson providing us an early look at our Whataburger What a Play. Out of position, if you will. They've cycled a few catchers over there to first base, but goes down and gets it, goes to a knee. Makes a nice, accurate throw, and I think that's a throw he's probably accustomed to as a catcher. The ball will find you. Find yourself in a new position, inevitably you're going to get yourself a tough hop, and Jackson passes the first test this afternoon.
Way outside. Anyway, my twisted theory on pitching. I feel like Greg Maddux set pitching back for several years, because he proved you don't have to throw hard. Just have good control, move the ball just a little bit, and you can win a bunch of Cy Youngs like he did. John Rave hits it deep to right field and off the top of the wall. Little stumble around first base, but he'll jog into second base for the double.
He gets a changeup from Bailey Ober. The one thing about this changeup is if he's not going to blow you away with a mid-90s fastball, hitters can stay back, and John Rave does an excellent job of that. Doesn't get on that front foot and try to pull it too much, but catches an off-speed pitch and then lets the barrel do the work.
And now Jack Caglione, he flied out to left field in the first inning. Wow! The whole crowd says wow. Way out of here. Over the flagpoles in right field. And even Twins fans have to stand and clap their hands on a monster home run by Jack Caglione.
Well, I'll tell you, the fans up there on the deck in right field were scattering the moment that ball was hit. 115 miles per hour off the bat from Jack Caglione. Sorry, 114. It's a pitch middle up, and this is the no-doubter of the season. Holy cow, that ball was smashed into the flag court up there, and you see them kind of scattering, looking behind them. doubter from Cags.
You might have been playing for the Royals. Jim Thome one year here hit that steel ball on the top of the American flag pole. And this was pretty close to that.
Let's see where this one went. So up into the, I was going to say, the way it came down, must have hit something. 438 feet is the estimated distance, and nickname him Captain America now, hitting balls off of flagpoles. That's pretty good shot. But no, I was not here for the Thome ball that you say hit the top of that.
It did.
I don't know what you call that, wraparound scoreboard.
No, not that one.
Oh,
no, that
difference. I was going to say that's like 700.
The same feet. Flagpole, but it hit the steel ball right on the top of that flagpole. Okay.
Well, I was looking at the other right steel ball at the top of the wraparound scoreboard.
No, they would have been. There would have been a guy in a lab coat and a paper cup waiting for him at home plate if he hit one up there. Salvi is down on strikes. Ober strikes out 2, but the Royals score 2 on a long home run by Jack Caglione. Book request. Well, we figured Jack Caglione putting that 0 for 22 behind him last night with an RBI single in the 5th inning. 2 at-bats later, he got another hit, and now 2 at-bats into today. He's hit a 2-run home run to give Noah Cameron an early lead, with the Twins sending up the lower third of the order in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Brooks Lee, Alex Jackson, and Ryan Kreidler.
Caglione just started the Hit the Flag program. Hit the flag. The flag court program.
It was a good start. Collins is there for the out. All right, I want to get your thoughts on this. Why do I think Greg Maddux may have set pitching back by proving you don't have to throw 95? Because he would cut it, sink it. He had pinpoint control. He had a good changeup. And for a whole decade, it felt like every pitcher had to throw a sinker and a cutter and do that because that's what Greg Maddux did. Zach Greinke even reached the big leagues in 2003 with the ability to throw 95, but he threw 88 because that's what you do. That's what Greg Maddux does. And yet I think it was proven over time that even if you try and grip the ball like Greg Maddux, or you approach the game like Greg Maddux, it's not that easy. So getting back to Bailey Ober and Randy Dobnak, it's not as easy as just teaching a pitcher your grip. How many guys do you think asked Mariano Rivera how you throw your cutter? And he did, and it just didn't come out of their hand like it did his. I mean, there's a lot more than just saying, hey, grip it like this and you'll have the same success that I did.
Well, you're exactly right. There's a ton more that goes into it. The size of your hand, your delivery, your arm angle, the way you're positioned on the rubber. And so I, for one, am a guy that was listening to people talk about pressure points on fastballs, and that's what made Greg Maddux's ball run back. For the life of me, I could never figure out how to put more pressure on one finger than the other. I was more balanced in my fingers. Nice curveball from Noah Cameron to strike out Jackson. But I would hear that, and I said, that doesn't make any sense to me. I couldn't execute it. Jackson gets set up here for curveball from Cameron's really been falling off the table a ton these last couple of outings for him. But yeah, so there is a lot more that goes into it than just understanding the grip, and I was one of them out there in the outfield trying to figure out how I could get a ball to move, and Greg Maddux was one of a kind.
That's a shutdown inning for you. 3 up, 3 down. Pitching with the lead. Kansas City Royals baseball is presented by Yuengling Light, the next generation of light beer. And by your local Kansas City Honda dealers.
There's the old gold medal flower building over there. You know much about that? Gold medal flower?
I think they used to make flour there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. F-L-O-U-R, flour.
Right. And if you're going to call yourself gold medal flour, it must have been pretty good. Michael Massey hits it to right center field. It hangs up and allows Clemens to catch up and make a sliding play for Ober.
Yeah, right fielders for the Twins all series long have shaded the Royals hitters to pull or to hit it more to the foul line. So that ball was a long run for Clemens. A lot of times you'll see right fielders kind of more straight up, meaning almost in line with second base or splitting first and second base, but Clemens more shaded toward the line. Nice sliding catch.
Nick Lofton grounded out to short in the second inning. He has a career high 9-game hitting streak, and he's gone 3 for 6 in this series with 2 walks. 1-1. That's ruled a swing by home plate umpire Nick Marley.
That's Ober's best pitch this season, the sweeper. Not a super hard pitch, 75, 77 miles per hour on average. But you pair that off of the changeup that has so much horizontal movement to the right side. Now this one goes the other way. You have that effect on hitters, getting them off balance. He's really upped his usage of the breaking balls this season. It's helped him to limit the hard hit damage.
Kreidler had to make an adjustment there. He was preparing to backhand the ball, and it took a turn to the right. 2 up, 2 down, and now a message from UMB Private Wealth.
Is my retirement plan on track?
Are my investments aligned with my goals?
Is my plan built for the long run?
Schedule an appointment today.
Isaac Collins took a 4-pitch walk in his first plate appearance, which included a successful ABS challenge. Cut off on the right side by Lewis, and now Bailey Ober has a quick 1-2-3 top of the 4th.
Royals and KU Tumbler with the purchase of a theme ticket. Purchase theme tickets at royals.com/KU.
Fouled away by Austin Martin. He's the only Twin to reach, and that was a leadoff walk in the first inning. Then he was caught stealing, and Noah Cameron set down the next 8. That was just his 31st pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Martin. This is not the pitcher's fault, but there was a long era going all the way back to high school where pitchers didn't have to learn how to call a game. All the pitches came from the dugout. That carries into college. A lot of minor league systems do the same thing. So you're asking a lot for a guy to call his own game when he gets to the big leagues. But back to your point from last inning with Noah going directly to PitchCom after he throws the pitch, he's clearly going with his first instinct, which would also tell me too he's not just thinking about the pitch, but he's reading the hitter's reaction to his pitches.
Yeah, most certainly is. All of that's information, and this catcher does the same thing. How does the catcher call a game? Well, they have a scouting report. They have a general idea of where the holes are on hitters or tendencies. But then they watch the swings. You look up at their eyes. You'll see catchers often look up at their face to see what they're doing. So Noah Cameron, I've always thought he knows how to pitch. The way he mixes up his pitches, the way he's able to throw all of them in different counts. I presume Noah Cameron's been quote-unquote learning how to pitch his entire life. So to do it now is no different for him. And he finally just said, I want to take control of it. I had a tough outing against the Padres, and I would like to call my own game and see how it goes. And now he's 10 2/3 innings into calling his own game, and it's gone very well. No runs allowed. In command of his stuff. Good pitch mix. Also thrown a lot of first pitch strikes, 8 of 11. That's one of the biggest denominators of his success, is getting ahead of guys. That's task number 1, first pitch strikes.
And I'll add in, this has been a good career matchup for him over 2 years. He's given up 2 earned runs in 4 starts. That was before today. 4 starts and 3 1/3 innings.
Seems like that's all we talk about in this Twins and Royals series, is how a pitcher has extremely successful numbers against the opponent. It seems to kind of flip-flop back and forth at times, but Noah Cameron to start. We hope that this will be much like Joe Ryan's, that will say his first 10 starts gives up no runs against this Minnesota Twins team. Goes backdoor curveball. See that pitch start way out in the left-handed batter's box. Jeffers has to react late. Swings right through it.
Royce Lewis struck out on a slider his first time up. Cutter. Oh, 2.
I'd say today the changeup for Noah Cameron doesn't have the same movement that we sometimes see, but his conviction, his sell on that pitch, meaning how does it look to a hitter? As I'm watching it right now, every time he throws that changeup, it looks like it's going to be a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That's the #1 key. I tell young pitchers all the time, whatever you do, don't change your arm speed. Change your grip. That's what makes the changeup a changeup, is the way your fingers are positioned on the ball, not the way you throw it.
2-2.
James Shields had the best changeup of any teammate I ever had, and he was a big proponent of that. He said, throw it harder than your fastball if you can. If it's too hard, then let's change the grip. So he taught me that. We'd be in the outfield playing catch. He would say, throw it as hard as you can. Rip it. And I would rip it. If it was hard or if it didn't move, he'd say, okay, let's change the grip then. Let's cause that good hand speed to create extra spin and movement on your changeup, because that's where you really get the swing and miss, and the deception.
So it wasn't just necessarily how it moved or how you gripped, but selling it with your arm speed.
Absolutely. At the end of his career, Zach Greinke would throw a fastball 91 and a changeup. It was kind of a split Fosh type grip, but his changeup would be 88, 89, and guys would swing at it like it was 75.
Good cutter in on Lewis's hand. So he's done that effectively to right-hand batters today, and he has 4 scoreless innings. And the next Fireworks Friday will be a game at Kauffman Stadium against the Cubs a week from tomorrow. Minnesota will be in town next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then the Cubs Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next homestand. Rojas will challenge.
Previous pitch called strike. Hitter challenging.
And this looks to go Ober's way. ABS is powered by T-Mobile.
Call confirmed. Kansas City has 1 remaining.
So both teams have 1 remaining. Rojas popped to third in the second inning. He's getting 3 straight starts in this series. And now he hooks it into right center field. And Keyshaw is there.
Another changeup from Ober. It's Rojas out front. Soft contact.
Tyler Tolbert struck out on a changeup in the third inning. And we've been talking about Ober's size and his relative velocity. The two just don't seem to go together when you're 6'9" and your average fastball is 88 miles an hour. He had some injuries in the minor leagues, which he tied to trying to throw too hard. And especially in his early years in the big leagues, Minnesota was really, really careful with his innings. Not just for the season, but innings per start. And I asked you one time, in the prime of your big league career, when you throw a fastball, at what % effort would you throw it? And you said 100%, that you would throw it as hard as you could. Sound like a broken bat. And that will drop for Tolbert. And the Royals have 1 on, 1 out. So what is the fine line between throwing your hardest and throwing too hard where you might hurt yourself?
Well, I think a lot of this, you see right here, the changeup. Tolbert struck him out last time on that pitch. This time he's able to stay back and get the barrel on it. It was a broken bat. For me, I think it depends a little bit on how you throw your fastball and what max intent looks like.
Pitching coach Pete Mackey is coming out for a chat.
I had a great pitching coach, Tom Kunis, who works now with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the way he termed it was have your best hand speed at release. And that was a real change for me, because a lot of times young players, when they try to throw the baseball as hard as they can, their focus is, as soon as the ball comes out of the glove, to be going 100% and ripping it. And he taught me, he said, don't accelerate out of the glove. Wait till your hand gets up around your shoulder and then accelerate down. And I think that's a lot less stress on your arm. And also you throw the baseball harder because you want to have that best hand speed at the release point. You want your hand to be accelerating through release versus decelerating because you've already kind of reached peak hand speed too early. That makes sense the way I'm describing it. So
it sounds like what you're saying is that if you rush, you put your arm in a bad position.
You end up stressing your shoulder and elbow behind your body, and your torso is kind of ripping your arm towards home plate. Versus if you can be patient and wait, you're using gravity and you're doing what they refer to now as a pull down. You're pulling the baseball down towards the catcher, and that's a lot less stress on your arm. And I feel like over years I got really good at pulling the baseball down, so my max effort out in front was a lot less stressful on my arm than my max effort might have been had it been out of the glove or behind my shoulder, behind the rubber, if that makes sense.
Interesting, it does. And it makes me think from a hitter's point of view, Dustin Pedroia was a little guy, and everyone thought he had this big swing. And he looked like he was almost over-swinging for a player his size. Fouled away by Carter Jensen, and then the explanation was, no, let's watch his mechanics. And his mechanics, he was very still, and then he would just last second explode to the ball, so therefore he had kind of a violent follow-through. So no, actually his swing was short and quick, but because he was smaller, it looked like he was over-swinging.
Because of the way he finished the swing, his maximum kind of barrel speed through the zone was right at contact, or where that contact point would be, and so the follow-through naturally looked a little bit more violent, and that's really important. So barrel speed for a hitter, hand speed for a pitcher, that's some of the keys that can really help a young pitcher. How do I throw harder? How do I develop velocity with also command? It's accelerating through the release point.
No double play, but close, and that right there is the most difficult double play to turn. Right hand throwing first baseman and a pitcher coming over to cover.
Yeah, no doubt. For the pitcher getting over there, number one, but Jackson does a nice job. A spin throw right on the money. Haley Oberts, as a pitcher, you're running over to first base and you're watching the shortstop at the same time trying to find the bag. Ober did a nice job and found the bag early. Got his foot to it, so well executed, but the speed of Carter Jensen able to beat it out.
Strike on John Rabe, who's already had a good day in his return to the Royals. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning and stole a base. And then he doubled and scored on Caglione's home run in the third. And now Rabe hits it up the right field line, and that's off the wall. Played very well by Clemens. So well that he almost got an out at second base. Now the ball gets away, and scoring is Jensen on a heads-up read after the throw got away from Lewis at second base.
Ober shakes his head, can't figure out John Rabe this afternoon. Rabe again gets a pitch inner third, turns on it, and hammers it off that brick wall in right field for a second time this afternoon. A nice throw by Clemens, but Rabe was able to beat it in. And what Carter Jensen did is he rounded third base. He was a few feet down the line, didn't stop his momentum, but was watching the play intently. And as soon as it squirted away, he was off to the races to home plate, safe by a mile. Really nice job by Carter Jensen, not giving up on the play.
And now a broken bat. Ober recovers and gets Jack Caglione, but the Royals with 2 outs get another double from Rave and another run and lead 3-0.
Continuing his rehab assignment, been getting a lot of at-bats, a lot of success, and then they've really been monitoring that. We've all, I think, talked about having some form of plantar fasciitis at some point and understanding that this is something that can take a while to go away. So he's doing well, scheduled off days in there, but in the meantime, and mentioned before, the depth of guys like Nick Lofton or the versatility, and the same could be said about John Rave, who gives them that versatility in the outfield. He was last year in late June, and talking to him this morning, we've already seen the impact that he has made today. 2 doubles, a stolen base in there, and then the ability to play all 3 outfield positions, and a guy that also isn't going to have those nerves in coming back. He's done this enough times. He's a pretty low-key, easy-going guy. Talking to him this morning, he said that really everybody in Omaha, we were telling you about Gavin Cross yesterday and his home run streak, they've all just sort of hit a good hitting stride at the same time. And on cue, John Rave over the shoulder makes the catch. Love when that happens. But he really credited the recent success at the plate to keeping things simple. How many times have we heard this before? And not trying to do too much. It's the same approach he took in today. As for the outfield, he gave the answer, the only acceptable answer. I'm happy and like whichever position I'm playing on any given day. But center field was always his position growing up. It's always been his position, more corner outfield in recent years. He says as a kid, it was all center field, occasional first base, and 1 or 2 times shortstop. But he is at home in center field, guys.
I've always felt like, Jeremy, that even though you put your best outfielder in center field, it's the easiest outfield position to play because everything is right in front of you. And if you're paying close attention, you can see the location of the pitch as it's coming in, which you don't see on the corners. You typically don't have to deal with hooks and slices in center field like you do in left field and right field.
Yeah, I agree with that. Probably is the easiest to play. The reason you put your best one out there typically is because it's where the most balls go.
Pitch called strike, hitter challenging.
Center field, right center, left center. Challenge here by Cody Clemens.
Presented by T-Mobile.
Calls confirmed. Minnesota has 1 remaining.
There's a lot to be said about that. To learn left and right field can be more challenging. And the guys who do it well, are really appreciated, really important. I've seen a lot of that from Isaac Collins recently, how well he's played left field.
Another strikeout for Noah Cameron. That is 4.
He's featured a really nice slider on top of the cutters, the changeups, and the curveball. The slider's been an effective pitch. A couple of strikeouts now on that 87-mile-an-hour slider. Starts at middle. That's the key, and then it goes down below the zone, but it looks just like a fastball, a little bit like the cutter, but more depth.
And he's at just 55 pitches. Keyshaw grounds it to short. Tolbert throws him out. 3 up, 3 down, and Cameron's retired 14. Jeremy is already campaigning for that game to start at 6:13 and not 6:15.
Absolutely. Why not?
Speaking of, Salvi pulls it foul. The ceremony starts at 6:15, I should say, but why not 6:13? Be in your seats at 6:13.
In honor of Salvi.
Yeah.
And be there. It's going to be great. You'll see a big turnout for that commemoration of Salvi's accomplishments throughout his long career. Much more to come.
Salvi leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant today is Sue Ann Grant from Lenexa. A home run is worth $600. And the chances are pretty good with the guy at the plate right now. A grand slam, and Sue Ann wins $25,000. Scan that code on the screen for information on how you can become a contestant. Salvi is flied out to deep left and struck out in his 2 at-bats against Ober. 2-2. Royals have a 2-run home run from Jack Caglione in the 3rd inning and another run in the 5th after a throwing error. Over gets the strikeout. That is his 3rd. Here's a message from Auto Owners Insurance.
With the right coverage from Auto Owners, when the unexpected happens, you know you're covered. That's simple human sense.
Michael Massey takes a low strike. He is grounded to first and flied to right on a sliding play by Clemens. Off the end of the bat and sinking. And Keyshaw makes a sliding, tumbling play. Natural infielder learning the outfield.
A nice adjustment by Keyshaw. Was playing pretty deep in center field, so he had a long run. You see, he's not too far in front of the warning track. Took his first step back, which an outfielder's taught to do, and then came in. Go and get it down near the grass. Nice play.
Back through the middle. Lewis has to run around second base and throws to first, and the Royals go down 1-2-3. Lofton is 0 for 3. He snapped the next day at Price Chopper. Noah Cameron has 4. He walked the first batter in the bottom of the first, Austin Martin, and he has retired the next 14.
Some kind of groove. 14 consecutive. He's really been in command of every at bat as well. Never felt like the hitters have been on him. Mix it up well. 12 of 16 first pitch strikes now for Cameron on the afternoon.
Brooks Lee flied out to left field in the 3rd inning. Curveball hangs high. The only 2 hard hit balls came last inning, and that was a line out to center by Bell and a sharply hit ground ball by Keyshaw. That's outside.
Something that makes Noah Cameron really difficult is with 2 strikes, ahead in the count, he's really balanced in what he throws to the hitters.
There's a leadoff walk.
Take a look at the afternoon. Noah Cameron came in off of one of his best outings of the season, and he's continued that trend here against the Twins. Strike out of Jackson. See that slider backdoor to Jeffers, and that nasty breaking pitch to Cody Clemens. As I was saying, Ryan, when he gets 2 strikes, it's 28% of the time it's a curveball, 25% of the time it's a 4-seamer. 20% it's changeup, sliders, 12-13%. So he just is able to mix it up, and that kind of balance makes it really difficult when a pitcher doesn't have 1 or 2 pitches he relies on to get the out and finish the at bat.
Bunted foul. And as you and I were discussing before the game started, because we were going through, how's he different this year compared to last year? And if you go by the percentages, is there a certain pitch you want to sit on? Well, if that percentage is 25% and you're sitting on that pitch, you may never see it. I mean, the way he's going, he's getting so many quick outs today.
For a second straight start, more cutters than 4-seam fastballs. And I would venture to say he likes the idea of that fastball, because it's in the fastball family, the cutter is. He likes the idea of something that's moving. He commands it extremely well. He has today again. So that's been one of the adjustments that Noah Cameron, in control of his own pitch calling, has made in the last 2 outings, is more cutters, a few less 4-seam fastballs, and for him, they're interchangeable because he feels comfortable with both of them.
2-2 on Jackson, who struck out on a curveball in the 3rd inning. Right by him. So not only did that pitch have movement, but it had enough power to blow right by Jackson.
Yeah, that's the one thing we've seen is a little bit of an uptick in velocity. This is 93 miles per hour with the cutter, so his fingers are offset just a hair, not directly behind the baseball like you are on a four-seam fastball, so typically a little bit of velocity is lost, but Noah Cameron's throwing each of those, the four-seamer and the cutter, with conviction, and the result is 92 miles per hour, plenty of velo to blow it by him. See if he can't dial up a little Seth Lugo magic here and get a double play. It's the average miles per hour, 93.5.
Salvi calls for it, and a long underhand toss with Salvi rolling on the ground and Caglione stretching.
There's nobody better. Nobody better coming from behind home plate on softly hit balls, whether it's to his left, his right, whether he's diving forward, making a spin throw. Gonna come and check on him here, but look at this play. Just a tapper out to the right-hand side. Salvi's full in. Underhand throw with a tumble. I don't know that I've ever seen a catcher make that long of an underhand throw.
That's a first for me. A catcher just doesn't get close enough to first base to be able to do that, but Kyle Turner and Matt Quintero are out to check on him. He did hit the ground hard and was rolling around, but his instinct told him that was the only shot he had.
Yeah, you pointed out he's been an Iron Man this year for the Royals. What a tough play, but the biggest thing about it is how quickly he reacts. Both Noah Cameron and he were on it, but Salvi recognizing he has the best angle. All that momentum is what allowed that throw to get to first base. My head coach in college, legendary Mark Marquis, always said, if you ever get a comebacker, I want every pitcher to throw it underhand to the first baseman, which required us to run towards the bag and get momentum and make a throw. His mantra was, I've never seen a bad throw underhand to a first baseman. And we looked for 3 years trying to find one guy to do it. We actually tried to get one of our pitchers do a bad one, just so we can tell coach that we've seen a bad one now. And no one ever did it. Here's a ball. The ground, Salvi working hard this inning. Able to keep it in front of him, so runner advances to third base now with 2 outs.
Ruled a little bit low. 2-0 on Martin. Noah's about to throw his 70th pitch in the 6th inning with 2 outs, so that's good news for him. Martin has walked and hit a soft liner to right, and now the count is 2-1.
Still to this day, if I get a ground ball from playing with my son or doing anything, if I get a ball back to me, my first reaction is to take 2-3 hard steps towards first base, get that throw off. Salvi's just so creative, so athletic. Probably never made that play like that in his life, and knew that was his only chance.
Delayed call and a strike.
Sometimes I feel like the delayed call is it advantageous to the pitcher because the hitters gets caught off guard. And it feels like the challenge is either late or they just don't do it because they're like so confused. Why was the call so late?
That's a good point.
I've seen a few of those where it's like the umpire being late causes the hitter to be confused, which has led to not challenging the pitch that was probably for the hitter clearly off the plate.
Martin hits it hard, but one hop to Tolbert. And that is 6 shutout hitless innings for Noah Cameron with the Royals. The most exclusive kids club in baseball is the Big League Pack. You receive 2 ticket vouchers, special perks, limited edition gear, and 2 limited edition clubhouse pins, all for just $39.99. That's for kids ages 6 through 12. And you can purchase your pack at Royals.com/Big League Pack. 35-year-old Taylor Rogers, who is back with the Twins, pitches the 7th inning. Just a bit outside.
Tried the corner and missed. Rogers completed 10 years of service. We've seen a few Royals players reach that landmark this season as well.
1-1 on Isaac Collins. who walked on 4 pitches in the second inning and grounded to second in the fourth. His words, not mine. About a month ago, Isaac Collins had a couple of challenges in a day game that turned the count around, and he ended up getting base hits in both of those at-bats. And poking fun at himself and maybe being a little bit sarcastic, he said, well, I'm better on ABS challenges during the day than I am at night. He has a successful ABS challenge today, and Sean Van Viesler, one of our associate producers, was curious, and he looked it up, and lo and behold, Isaac Collins is better during the day than he is at night. No one will get to that one, and it drops for a leadoff single for Isaac Collins, who was for a moment thinking about trying to head to second base.
Well, why wouldn't you be? A lot easier to see in the daytime. Of course he's better in the daytime. He gets the ball in on the hands, muscles it out into center field. Luke Keyshaw still playing pretty deep against some of the hitters in the lower part of the lineup for the Royals, so no chance of getting to that ball.
Rojas bunts foul.
You see Rogers, even at 35 years young, still can run it up there, 93 miles an hour. Throw his cutter upper 80s as well, and then has a big sweeper in the upper 70s. Those are his 3 weapons to attack hitters.
Thinking about butting that one, and he almost took it on the helmet.
He's knocked down to his hind end, and good heads-up play by Collins. Sometimes a runner can get distracted when a ball goes right over the head of a hitter. Might get caught sleeping. Right away, Jeffers fires to first base, and Collins was in safely. Don't want to get caught as a spectator on a play like that.
This time he gets the bunt down. And that required some maneuvering by numerous Twins players there for Jackson to get out of the way and let Lewis slip in from second base.
Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Royals, the official source for your Kansas City Royals gear. Nice bunt by Rojas as well. Tough lefty. Man on first, you want to take that bunt to first base, which he did exactly right. Drawing the first baseman of the pitcher and move the runner to second.
Tyler Tolbert is 1 for 2. A little bit high, 1 ball, 1 strike. This is big league season number 11, which doesn't always add up to 10 years of major league service. That's an accumulation of actual days, not parts of seasons. Fouled in Jeffers' glove by Tolbert. But Rogers began his career here in Minnesota and pitched here for 6 years. He was an All-Star in 21. Then to the Padres, then the Brewers, then the Giants for 2 years, where he played with his twin brother Tyler, then the Reds, the Cubs, and back to Minnesota. Fouled away, still 1-2 on Tolbert.
When you talk about the accumulation of service time versus years played in the major leagues, it brings up one of my favorite stories of a teammate I had in the minor leagues. He played, his name was Daniel McCutcheon, played with the Pirates a few years. He was a pitcher, teammates of Andrew McCutcheon, but whenever someone would ask him, hey, how long did you play in the big leagues? He'd go, parts of 10. And I said, how much did you play totally? He said, under 3. That was always his biggest joke. Parts of 10, but a total of less than 3.
But service time was less than 3.
A full year is 181 days, if I remember correctly. So day you're in the major leagues, you get a day of service, and a full year equals 181. So it took me 4 seasons to get 1 year of major league service. Parts of 4, 5, 6, and eventually in 7, I reached 1 full year of service.
The drone cam. How about that view? Looking in from the left field corner, just over the Minnesota Twins offices.
I respect the pilot. It'd be really good to be maneuvering that close.
Deep third, and that's off of Lee's glove, and now a chance for an out at third base. There's a collision, and Collins is going to be ruled out.
Well, that's a tough break for Collins. A really heads-up play by Kreidler.
Is Q arguing that Kreidler blocked the base?
Q certainly doesn't seem satisfied with the answer provided. Well, it's a hot shot off the glove of Brooks Lee, and it shoots in the shallow left field right here. Backhand play, and there's Kreidler. You know, I don't know if he was not necessarily backing up, but going to try to make the play himself, and so he's in the right spot by nature of being hustling, and tough throw on the run. Brooks Lee running backwards. Just a really good defensive play. Like I said, a tough break for Collins. I like that. That's good aggressive base running, in my opinion. Really had a chance to be there. Should have been at third base, but
the reason for that rule almost was entirely designed for the play at second base on a runner trying to steal, and the second baseman or the shortstop arriving early and having time to set himself, put their knee down, and block the base. And so I could see Q's argument there, because before he had the ball, Lee did put his knee down in front of third base. However, he was scrambling, and the argument can be made, how much control over his body did he have, and just trying to scramble back to third base and find his footing and receive the throw.
Yeah, it certainly seemed less intentional than a guy protecting the bag by dropping the knee in front of the runner. It's the second time now a Royals runner has been thrown out at third base in the series, but again, the way that ball shot off the glove, aggressive base running. The Royals have said all season long they'll be aggressive. That one for me is just a bad luck play by the way it ricocheted, and Kreidler making a nice play on it.
Three and one on Carter Jensen, who has walked, grounded out.
Previous pitch, call ball. Catcher challenging.
Reached on a fielder's choice. ABS is powered by T-Mobile. Jeffers is challenging this one.
Call strike, base on one.
What did he say? Cut himself off?
Not sure what language he was using, but I think we understood that Jeffers challenged it. He was correct. Minnesota still has one challenge.
I didn't even see him challenge it.
Three and two. And ball four outside, and Carter has his second walk today. And John Rabe is the scheduled hitter, and he has a couple of doubles today, but with the left-hand pitcher on the mound, it's going to be Lane Thomas. So the Twins will make sure everyone's on the same page with the Lane Thomas scouting report. If you're a college student, educator, healthcare worker, or senior, you can get a discount on select Royals tickets this season. Come out and see your boys in blue back in action. And save big while you're at it. Certain games and exclusions may apply. Learn more and verify today at royals.com/fan-value. Lane is 2 out of 9 with a stolen base and a run scored in the series. As we were telling you earlier that he was hit by a check swing foul ball by Carter Jensen late in the game last night when he was standing in the on deck area, which is closer to home plate in this ballpark than any other ballpark. Backdoor, and it's called a strike, and it's 0-2.
And he's got a mark to show for it. No time to react.
And look at where Jack Caglione is right there. How close he is.
Exactly where he was.
Yep.
Took a check swing deflection off the bat of Jensen.
Still 0-2.
Yeah, Rogers can still run it up there. A lot of times you see a tall lefty out of the bullpen that's been around a while. You think, okay, maybe he's going to mix it up with off speed to get you out, but he'll rush it up there 93, 94, and it can get on a hitter. I respect that big sweeper.
Good take. 1-2. Still live. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Minnesota's had a really rough year with their bullpen with a high team ERA, and at the same time they've been one of the best in save percentage.
Kind of counterintuitive the way they've done it, and they've pieced it together with different arms at the back end of games that they've won.
And a fastball hits the inside edge. So that play at third was big for Minnesota, and the Royals strand 2 in the 7th.
With every pitch in his repertoire, the cutter's been a good one again, in on the hands of a righty a couple of times, the curveball, changeup, slider, even a sinker. So a pitch he doesn't use typically to get outs, he's used that today. So had the help of a caught stealing, but above all, he's just continued to mix it up really well all afternoon. Nothing the hitters can do to sit on any given pitch in any given count.
Lane Thomas remains in the game in center field after pinch hitting for Rave. And Ryan Jeffers takes a strike. He is grounded out to third and struck out on a curveball. So all the Twins have so far in 6 at-bats is a walk in the first and a walk in the 6th. And Noah's ahead 0-2.
When you think back to it, there's not even a whole lot of pitches you can pinpoint that you say that was a mistake made by Noah Cameron that was just mishit. For the most part, he has been on the edges, the corners. Above all, he just continues to mix up the speed.
And to right center field, and that will be down for Minnesota's first hit on an 0-2 pitch of all things.
Well, there's going to be someone you thought maybe it would be Ryan Jeffers riding the 19-game on-base streak, and all it is a changeup up in the zone. That was the key. He throws it down where he's been throwing it all day. Undoubtedly, he would have got a rollover, maybe a swing through, but up in the zone, Jeffers can keep the barrel of the bat in the zone longer and shoot it into right center field for a single. Incredible effort by Noah Cameron. Reminds me of his debut Was it 5 innings? He was no-hitter through his debut down in Tampa as well. This is the second, no, longer.
He got 1 out in the 7th inning.
7th, okay. So yeah, you said it right there. His second longest no-hit bid, and the first came in his first taste of the major leagues.
That is a swing. And that's not very good at bat there for Lewis. And 6 strikeouts for Noah Cameron. So we weren't quite at the hang on the edge of your seat no-hitter territory, but the Royals have 4. Steve Busby had 2. 1 in 73, 1 in 74. The most unlikely was Jim Colburn, and the most recent was Brett Saberhagen in 1991. Down to second, and not quite a double play, but that was the captain taking charge there. You could hear him yelling all throughout Minneapolis, 2-2-2, wanting Rojas to throw to second, not first.
Oh yeah, and Josh Bell was slow out of the box, which is why Salvi was yelling. I think naturally Rojas is going to go 2 either way, but he's saying 2-2-2, meaning we got a chance to turn this. Bell was kind of stuck in the box, thinking it might be foul off the bat. So even with 2 good throws, Bell's still able to make up the difference.
A swing.
Well, Royals fans will have to wait at least another day for a no-hitter. Looking for the first one in 35 years.
Right on the inside edge. And not just good location, but by the reaction from Clemens, it would tell you that he was looking for a pitch that was going to be away from him.
Yeah, certainly. It throws up on the inside edge of the plate.
Here's the Royals' last no-hitter at then Royals Stadium. Frank Thomas was at the plate. And it looked like maybe a little slicing base hit to right field, but Terry Shumpert was right there. Brent Mayne was the catcher. Look at Brent Mayne. Who threw the no-hitter? Brent Mayne or Brett Saberhagen, the way that the young, at the time, Royals catcher responded. Brent Mayne. That was on the turf, too.
Yeah, even tougher to accomplish on the turf. A lot of balls get through. And why not? If you're a catcher and you call a no-hitter and you're part of it, you are as excited, or close to as excited as the pitcher, for sure.
So only the Guardians and the Blue Jays have gone longer without a no-hitter. Popped up. Collins wants it. He's got it. So let's start talking about a shutout now. 7 shutout innings for Noah Cameron.
There's Noah Cameron through 7. Just 1 hit allowed. Ryan Jeffers able to muscle a single back in the 7th. Here's today's Rally House moment that matters, and it was Jack Caglione going nuclear on this pitch from Bailey Ober. Drove it into the flag out in the right field. Flag day here at Target Field. Caglione busted out of the 0 for 22 last night with a couple of hits, and now a home run, number 17 on the season, 113.7 miles per hour. And
now facing Andrew Morris. That pitch was 98 in on his hands. No balls, 2 strikes.
Almost a young right-handed fireballer. You saw 98 miles per hour, upper 90s fastball. Also cutter, sweeper, and changeup.
He made his big league debut this year in April. Still 1-2. That home run for Caglione was a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning, and then the Royals scored a run after a throwing error by Clemens from right. All 3 of those runs were charged to starter Bailey Ober. 2-2, 100 miles an hour.
Triple digits from Morris. Strong arm. 50 innings pitched this year in his rookie campaign. 40th game on the year, so he has settled in very nicely with this Twins bullpen.
3-2. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Salvador Perez is on deck, followed by Michael Massey.
Morris' strikeout pitch is the 4-seam fastball, as you might imagine, with the 100 you've already seen today.
Broken bat and down for a base hit. And with all of his power, you can imagine all 3 outfielders are going to play him deep. And so that worked perfectly for him, and a leadoff single.
Yeah, if you're a pitcher, the best way to neutralize power is try to get in off the barrel. Able to do just that was Andrew Morris. Fastball in, got in on him, and see that left hand fly off the bat. He's trying to find the baseball. Thought it might be a foul ball out of play, but so strong, even when he doesn't get the good part, able to get it out of the infield.
So Caglione, since snapping the 0 for 22, has 4 hits in his last 6 at-bats. And now Salvi hits it to right field, but that stayed up, and it's caught by Clemens, 1 away. Michael Massey is 0 for 3, but 2 of those required sliding plays in the outfield by the right fielder Clemens and the center fielder Keyshaw.
So that fastball had cutter action on it, registered as a 4-seam, but a lot of movement in towards Michael Massey.
On the ground to second. Lewis flips to Kreidler to first in time. And we head to the bottom of the 8th with Noah Cameron and the Royals leading 3-0. Kansas City Royals baseball is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Quick Trip. Download the QT app for exclusive deals and offers. Noah Cameron did not allow a hit until the first batter in the 7th inning. He's allowed a total of 3 base runners. And he's on target, strike 1 to Luke Keyshaw. And that was just his 85th pitch of the game.
Yeah, been very efficient. First pitch strikes have been the key for that.
And on his hands with a cutter. There's been a lot of that to right-hand batters today.
19 of 24 first pitch strikes for Noah Cameron, well above his season average.
Laid off a curve. When Noah records an out in this inning, that will be a career high 7 1/3 innings.
14 scoreless on the road trip so far. 7 in Detroit. 7 more this afternoon.
We told you coming in that he's always done well against the Twins. That is his career ERA. This year, we're talking 3 starts, 18 innings, and 1 earned run. Had him reaching. Rojas cuts across, spins, throws in time.
Very nifty play by Rojas. Going hard to his left. Full turn spin. That can confuse you if you're a fielder coming out. Where do you pick up the target? Able to find big Jack Caglione on the other side of the diamond. That's what it's all about. Find it with your eyes. Shoot it across. Nice play.
Brooks Lee has flied to left and walked. Noah Cameron has faced 1 over the minimum, and now a career high 7 in the 3rd innings. He had gone 7 innings 6 times, including in his only relief appearance of his not just major league career, but his professional career. He never pitched out of the bullpen even in the minor leagues.
A lot of people ask, is it more challenging to come in as an opener, or sorry, as a bulk guy after an opener? And
Rojas again. 2 down.
Rojas like a vacuum at third base, and the answer is yes, because it breaks your routine. The nice thing is if it's an opener who's going to go 1 inning or maybe less, you're just a few minutes behind him. So if he's out there wanting to throw a long toss like most starters do, he would be in the outfield while the opener would be warming up in the bullpen. As soon as that pitcher gets off the mound to go in, you then would go to the bullpen and get your pitches going. And so it wouldn't be too much of a difference. Just a little bit slight change in the schedule. But nonetheless, if you're a starter, you want to be a starter. And I think Noah Cameron appreciates the chance to be the starter, having talked to him. So he's definitely made a case for that in his last 2 outings.
Timeout called by Jackson.
He doesn't need the opener, he said. Let me show you I don't need the opener. I come out and start painting from the first inning on.
One and one. And Matt Quatrero made it clear before the game that the Noah Cameron being used as a bulk reliever wasn't just about Noah Cameron. They wanted to see if Beck Way would be an option as an opener.
Yeah, he talked about that. Some high, facing the top of the lineup. Some of their better hitters. We wanted to see how Beck Way responded.
It's been a nice run for the Royals starters out of the All-Star break. This is quality start number 8 in 13 games. Great changeup on 2-1, and that does not count, which was essentially a quality start by Noah Cameron, giving the Royals 7 scoreless innings out of the bullpen on Friday at Detroit. Jackson is down on strikes and make that 8 shutout innings for Noah Cameron.
Well, he has been nasty all afternoon. Another changeup, another strikeout.
3-0 Royals and a chance to win a series with Royals fans here. And I got a note sent up to the booth from a Royals fan here today who wanted to acknowledge a very special Royals fan and faithful viewer. Ball 1 to Nick Lofton. A shout out to 94-year-old Beryl Broughton, who, as the note says, watches every Royals game.
Wow, thanks for watching.
Beryl Broughton.
Beryl has seen a nice one this afternoon thus far.
Two balls, 1 strike on Nick Lofton. And it appears that Noah Cameron has said that's enough for today.
Oh, jeez. He was incredible this afternoon. Giving a little recap, as we saw with our starting pitchers. Lots to talk about today. As good as he has been in the big leagues, 1 hit allowed, 8 innings, a career high. 7 strikeouts, a couple of walks, in command all day long. Just 1 changeup up in the zone away from possibly working towards a no-hitter.
Nick Lofton hits it hard, but out. So unless Minnesota rallies, That's it for Lofton's career best 9-game hitting streak. And Noah Cameron allowed 3 base runners in 8 innings and no hits until Ryan Jeffers led off the 7th inning. 97 pitches. That matches his last outing on Friday at Detroit. But today he got 1 more inning out of 97 pitches.
Sure did. Gomez on in relief for the Twins. His 35th game, and it's been really good for the bullpen. 1.78 ERA this season, and good 4-seam fastball, sweeper, cutter. I suppose a sinker and a changeup.
They got him from Tampa Bay in early May and technically purchased from the Twins. So there was no player involved. Tampa Bay didn't get another player for Gomez, and Gomez had pitched 9 games for Tampa Bay and his ERA was over 6. But he is 12 for 12 in save opportunities since coming over to the Twins with a 1.78 ERA. That's down for a base hit in front of Martin. And Isaac Collins has 2 hits, and he's reached base 3 times today.
Swing by Isaac Collins, and anytime you're a team that's able to pick up a closer like that, you see this good fastball again. 97, 98, 99 right here, and Collins just able to stay inside out. But for the Twins, a bullpen that had really been struggling, they go out and find an opportunity to grab a Gomez from the Rays, and now all of a sudden he is their lockdown arm in the 9th inning. I said the 1.78 ERA, and that's over his 35 appearances for the Twins. So kind of fall into that luxury, and they might be in the market. These Twins, you look around, that's probably been the toughest part of their team this year, has been their bullpen. So as the trade deadline approaches, maybe they're buyers on another bullpen arm.
Jeffers tried to catch Collins off the bag, but then Jackson had to leap in the air to prevent an error. One and 2 on Rojas. He is 0 for 2 with a sac bunt, and he has started all 3 games of this series. On the ground to second. Lewis will flip to second, and the Twins get 1 out on the play. Tyler Tolbert with 2 outs. He is 1 for 3 and 3 for 7 in the series. 98 on the corner. The Twins have their 9, 1, and 2 hitters scheduled to hit in the 9th inning, with Lucas Erceg coming out. Rojas took off for second. He thought he had timed Gomez perfectly. Gomez didn't go to the plate, and he had to scramble back to first.
A lot of base runners will try and do that, try and get a timing on the pitcher. So it's not a function of only your speed, but it's how do you read the pitcher and get the head start.
One and 2. Like it was right on the corner, but sometimes the way the catcher receives the ball, and that time Jeffers' momentum was taking it from the strike zone out of the strike zone.
Jeffers got put in handcuffs with that 98-mile-an-hour fastball low and in, probably expecting it more away. And
Tolbert hits it into center field and not hard hit, so Rojas will make the turn and go first to third to put 2 on for Carter Jensen.
Well, he's patient on a couple of good fastballs in the zone. Finally gets a sweeper and he's able to handle that. Takes it right back up the middle. Another base hit for Tyler Tolbert.
So big spot for Carter Jensen. Tack on some runs here with 3 outs to go on defense. Tolbert runs and it's fouled away. Carter walked in the first inning. He reached on a fielder's choice and scored on a throwing error in the 5th, and then he walked again in the 7th. Royals are 1 for 5 today with a runner in scoring position. Not running, and inside 1-1 on Jensen. There goes Tolbert, and he'll steal second without a throw.
Gomez and the Twins focused on Carter Jensen. Don't want to make that throw. They already had the double steal back on Tuesday that cost him a run, and the same guy at third base, Josh Rojas, making the read. So.
And Jensen is down on strike, so the Royals strand 2, 3 outs to go to take the series. Noah Cameron has pitched the best game of his major league career. Scoreless innings, 1 hit. That didn't come until the 7th inning. And he walked 2, and now Lucas Erceg gets a chance for a save. He is 12 out of 18 this year. Salvi comes out to give him some encouragement and to prepare for Trevor Larnach, who is going to pinch hit for Ryan Kreidler. Twins have 4, including Larnach, left-hand bats. They include the switch hitter Caratini as options on their bench.
Yeah, likely to see a couple of those here in the 9th. Is Lucas Erceg.
Good start. 98 is swung on and missed by Larnach, who led off and played left field in the first 2 games of the series. He is 0 for 5. 0-2.
You would imagine Erceg would have a little extra zip on his pitches. Just his 2nd outing in the last 11 days. Pitched well in Detroit, scoreless inning, and
that's where he wants that changeup. He's been hurt by that pitch quite a bit this year that has ended up in the middle of the plate.
For some pitchers, you want to have contact on your changeup. For others, you want it to be in a spot where it can only be a swing and miss. And I would say for Lucas Erceg, that is a good strategy. His fastball is more than enough. His slider is sharp. When that's down, it becomes nasty as well. So a changeup is just a different look, a different speed for a hitter, something to keep them off the fastball.
Good start. A slider puts away Larnach, 1 away.
That's the good slider. Starts middle of the plate and just handcuffs Larnach. Coming hard in. Right there, middle in, and shoots down under the hands. Exactly where you want to put it.
And now Victor Caratini will come off the bench and bat for Martin. Caratini is 2 out of 8 in the series and has been particularly tough on the Royals here at Target Field. This is the Royals' final game at Target Field for the year. And no matter what happens today, the Royals will have a winning record at Target Field this season. They are 4-2 coming into today. And before this year, the Royals had lost 23 of their last 30 at Target Field.
I remember when the Royals used to come in 2013, 14, 15, it was a place we enjoyed playing. So for some reason, at some point, the script got flipped on the Royals and Target Field became a tougher place to win ball games. Nice to see them kind of get back in the groove here and see if they can start a new stretch of winning baseball.
Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Up the middle, and Tolbert is right there on a soft liner.
Well, good fading action to that pitch by Urseg. Get that late movement, get the ball off the barrel, and get a soft line drive.
And here's Ryan Jeffers, who has the only hit for Minnesota. You know, you say it's not who you face, it's when you face them. And Minnesota was winning coming into the series with the Royals, but not necessarily hitting. They were led by their pitching. And now Jeffers is hit by a pitch. And the last thing the Royals want to do here is give the Twins base runners. Now, Minnesota scored 3 runs in the game on Tuesday. 2 of those didn't come till the 9th inning. The Royals shut them out on 5 hits. Last night they have shut them out on 1 hit so far today. So this is one of the best offenses in many categories in the American League, but not necessarily since the All-Star break. And Royals pitching has taken full advantage of that with excellent starts from Lugo, Dobnak, and Cameron. 0-1 on Tuesday's hero, Royce Lewis, who had a 2-out, 2-run walk-off.
That was a nasty slider from Urseg. Wild swing from Lewis as it broke away from him.
And then right down the middle.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you talk about tunneling, that first slider started in the exact same location out of the hand as that fastball that ran back, so it ends up kind of outer third, middle-ish, but the way it was released was the exact same spot as the pitch previous. And that's 3 in a row. So Urseg doing a nice job of tunneling. It's Royce Lewis, 3 tough pitches.
Two and 2.
Find a way to get a slider that starts middle away and breaks down below the zone. Certainly can get a swing and a miss to finish this one out.
And instead it's a ground ball into center field, and the tying run will come to the plate.
Well, it's a good slider off the plate, and all Royce Lewis does is its full extension is throws the bat at the ball. Able to get enough of it on there to sneak it through the infield. So Royce Lewis giving the Twins hope, still here with 2 outs in the 9th.
Josh Bell is 0 for 3. He had one of the few hard hit balls against Noah Cameron with a line out to center field in the 5th inning. So the Royals were 1 out away, 2 outs, nobody on, and then 1 strike away. And now the tying run is at the plate. Hold foul. The veteran Josh Bell He's putting together one of his best seasons, hitting with runners in scoring position. He has 1 RBI in the series. Up the left field line. Collins into the corner, sliding, and it's foul. And it would be appropriate for Collins to make a good play because that's all he's done since the All-Star break.
Yeah, especially plays going to his right towards the foul line. He's become Superman on a number of balls just like this one, but runs out of room. Does a nice job to avoid an unsafe collision into the wall. Sliding in there, feet up.
So again, 1 strike away. And high. Two and 2 in a 20-pitch inning.
Well, ideally to Josh Bell, whether it's hard or soft, you want to be low and away. That's his biggest hole. If it leaks up, that puts it in a little bit of a nitro zone for him. So want to work that lower away quadrant if you can get it down there.
From 0-2 to 3-2. Runners will be going. And Bell takes a walk.
Freeze pitch, call ball because you're challenging.
ABS is powered by T-Mobile.
I'll confirm Kansas City is out of challenging.
So with 2 outs and nobody on, a hit batter, a single to center field, and a walk after an 0-2 pitch. And Matt Quatraro is going to remove Lucas Erceg with Cody Clemens, who has punished the Royals in his short major league career, and go with a left on left and bring in Matt Strahm. The pitching of Noah Cameron. Didn't have a big lead, but it was comfortable by the way he was pitching. And now suddenly with 2 outs and nobody on base, Minnesota has loaded the bases, bringing up Cody Clemens, who has hit 7 home runs against the Royals in his career. And here's Matt Strahm, who's been in this position before, and he throws a strike. Down to 1 strike again, and that's where Lucas Erceg was twice before giving up a base hit to Royce Lewis to put 2 on with 2 out, and then he was 0-2 on Josh Bell, who came back and walked. In the air, deep right center field, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. That is the 8th career home run for Clemens against the Royals in 17 games on an 0-2 pitch.
For Matt Strahm, you see he's trying to go slider out of the zone, away to left-handed hitters. They bat under 150. That one caught middle of the plate, wasn't able to get it out there. An 0-2, you've got to be thinking How do I expand off the zone something unhittable for Clemens? And unfortunately, it was not unhittable.
That is the 9th time the Royals have been walked off this year, and the 2nd time on a grand slam. Going back to Dominic Smith in Atlanta in the 2nd game of the season. This started with 2 outs and nobody on base. A hit batter, a single, a walk after the count was 0-2. That was against Urseg, and that will tell you exactly how he feels at the moment. And then an 0-2 pitch to Clemens.
Well, talk about having your heart ripped out. The way this team played the entire series, the way Noah Cameron pitched tonight, just